Well, I will say this. If we've already celebrated the Navy, then why is he firing missiles into California? This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The disclaimer is down in the description box. Hello and welcome to the Think Tank. We use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased and logical conclusions. Today we're here to talk about Camp Pendleton and the missiles that are going to be fired in to celebrate 250 years of the Navy. I thought we had a celebration last like 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, but we'll talk about that during the episode. And we're also going to discuss the largest protest in the history of the country. I'm excited to hear what the MAGA party feels about these No Kings protests. And we need to talk about the firing of these missiles into the state of California. But before we dive in, first I'm going to allow my co-host, the Honorable Dion Powell, to introduce himself. Dion?
I'm 78th Assembly District Leader Dion Powell here in the Bronx Conservative Party, not to get confused with the other type of right party, if you know what I mean. And I always say that we are the news and so are you, because you can do your own research now and put out your own facts based on your own findings. I think I'm gonna use that as a cliche as well, Leo. And there's a lot of anniversaries coincidentally under the second Trump administration based on different militaries. Navy's birthday anniversary, country's anniversary. Happy anniversary, Leo. No?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So let's dive right in. So the 250th anniversary that we're celebrating let's look at it to see when this anniversary is. Anniversary, and I'm gonna have to pull it up on the screen. Gotta give me a minute. Navy.
Yes, you should know when your anniversary is, Leo. That way you can get a nice pen.
Okay. Well, let's dive in. The U.S. 250th anniversary was celebrated on October 13th, 2025, marking 250 years since its founding in 1775. Celebrations organized by groups like Homecoming 2250 were centered in the Philadelphia area and included events such as tour ships, parades, concerts, and fireworks. Wow.
Look at all the stuff you missed out on.
Look at the wonderful celebration that we had. Oh,
And that you missed out on because as a Navy veteran, and thank you for your service, you should have participated. But you were so busy being so upset that Donald Trump did it. Or were you too busy being a dad?
I was actually too busy being a dad, but I do appreciate the.
Say it, say it. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, remembering the Navy and putting the military in such high esteem. You wish he was the president when you were in the service, you say? Oh, Leo, you shouldn't have.
That is literally the definition of putting words in someone's mouth.
Okay.
Well, I will say this: if we've already celebrated the Navy, then why is he firing missiles into California?
Well, it simply says here on my internet search that he's having
Care
another
to share your screen?
anti-parade. Oh boy. And then again, this is just Trump being Trump, trolling us over
Here we go.
time.
Whenever they say this just Trump being Trump, you know what that means. That means it's some Bolshevik.
Okay. So there's a lot of different reports here. They're saying that he's shooting these missiles right now as a vanity parade. So this is one from 2 days ago. This is from Snoops, MSN.
Oops.
You never heard of these some of these platforms, but they be having some new perspectives on this.
Actually, Snopes is the fact checking platform.
Oh, okay. So you want to go to that platform, my friend? Because I've never really heard of it
Oh,
before.
that's the big fact checking platform that's been on that's gotten big since his first term in office.
Well, let's see what Snoops has to say about it. Unpacking claim Trump planned show of force by missiles into California during protests. Rumors, oh, key word, that a major California freeway will be shut down for a missile demonstration were refuted in a statement from the Marine Corps. So the Marines themselves said this is not truly. Oh, so far this fact-checking website seems to be on the up and up. Wow, these fact-checking websites have to be extra careful now if Trump is in office because they could get sued for lying or fake news. All right. An article self-proclaimed pro-democracy media outlets, Midas Touch, ooh, those guys, which cited an unnamed sources, reported that U.S. President Trump was planning a show of force by launching missiles into California October 18th, today, as the No Kings protest, noting that Interstate 5 could be shut down. Governor Newsom shared the same claim. The U.S. Marines posted a statement on their websites that said all training events will occur on approved training ranges and comport with established safety protocols, and that no public highways or transportation routes will be closed. Newsom later acknowledged on his X statement, "Whoa, thank God those Marines cleared that up." The Los Angeles Times reported it was Newsom's office that considered the closure of the interstate to accommodate the event. So you see, this fact-checking website on the surface.
Hold up, can we finish? What was that next paragraph?
You want to keep going, Leo, you said?
Yes, I wanted to see what the next paragraph said. That's
Oh,
something
you want
about the
some
No
more of
King's
this stuff,
protest.
huh?
I just want to see what it said.
As activists planned another No Kings protest, boring, Homer Simpson voice, today, October 18th, to voice discontent with the administration of Republican United States President Trump. A rumor, again, keyword family, spread on social media that the president was planning a show of force by launching missiles over California. Another publicity stunt using Donald Trump's name again. The rumor claimed the administration planned on close Interstate 5 to shoot out missiles from ships into Camp Pendleton, a training facility for the Marines about 80 miles south of Los Angeles. Users across social media sites such as Instagram, X, and Facebook shared the claim. Some suggest Trump planned on using the excuse of a military showcase in order to intimidate No Kings protesters. Leo, citing the administration's attempt to characterize the protest as anti-American. Should I keep going? Or did this website finally get its act together? Or did Donald Trump, or is this website capitulating to Donald Trump by putting all this pro-Donald Trump propaganda?
There's not a single thing that is pro Donald Trump. You're spinning what it's saying. Let us recap. What it said was the U.S. Marines. Who's in charge of the U.S. Marines? Oh, right. Isn't that Keith Hegseth? Put out a statement saying they're not doing anything untrained. They did not say they weren't firing the missiles. That was nowhere in there. It also said that because of it, they said Trump wasn't shutting down the Parkway. They said that Governor Newsom was shutting down the Parkway. And if he's shutting down the Parkway, it's probably because he's trying to protect people because of the missiles being fired in.
Unfortunately, Leo, our viewers can't see the screen of all this wonderful facts that you're claiming. Get it? The key word
What are
is
you talking about? It's what you read. You just tried to spin it as you read it.
I didn't
He's
see
shutting down the Parkway.
Hexeg's name there. I didn't see P. Hexeg.
You saw the Marines. Who's in charge of the Marines? Like, this is not rocket science.
It's on the Marines website. So
who's in charge of that? Who's in charge of the Marines?
The President of the United States.
No, that's not who's in charge. He placed somebody in charge of the Marines. He calls them the Department. He calls the Department of War. He calls it his Secretary of War. Who is the Secretary? His Secretary of War. It is Keith Hegseth in charge. Am I incorrect?
Okay.
So, and even if it was Donald Trump, Keith Hegseth is the same thing. It's coming from them. And if the interstate is being shut down, it's because of the missiles that are definitively being fired like 80 miles southeast. Like, they're like, yo, we can't have people with live ammunition because you're firing live ammunition into California. The courts have already ruled that you can't take one state's military or National Guard and send them to another state. That is almost like using one state to war with another state. He's already doing these things. The Supreme Court has not ruled on this yet. But every state, the appeals court have already ruled on it. The circuit court has already ruled on it. The second district court's ruled on it. The ninth district court's ruled on it. The appeal court's ruled on it. Now, I'm not an attorney. That sounds like a lot of courts. Now, the Supreme Court hasn't levied its stance on it yet, but I'm willing to bet telling troops from one state to march against the citizens of another state is not going to be upheld by the Supreme Court. But I'm just a layman. And now not only you tried to send troops from one state into another against citizens, now with the biggest protest in the history of this country against him, because there are that many people upset that it's the biggest protest. Like, the Black Lives Matter was such a huge thing. That was probably the biggest protest in the history of the country. And this dwarfs that by orders of magnitude, by the sheer size and numbers of participants expected to be at these No Kings parades. People are not happy. And Trump is so upset that even though he just celebrated this Navy 250th anniversary, even though he just celebrated a week ago, now he's like, we're going to celebrate. We're going to fire missiles during the protest. It's just a celebration. It's not a show of military force. We're just celebrating again. Yeah, we just came up with this 2 days ago. Pay no attention to the timeline because it's just me being me. It's just Trump being Trump. I'm just going to, we're going to fire missiles, live ammo into the largest state in the union with more people than any, like, what? Like, this is really happening in America?
No, it's not. As you can see, the governor of California, along with the other peaceful protesters and their poor PR marketing departments that are poorly funded by George Soros, fail to, ignite the publicity stunt of Trump's evilness they need to have these No Kings Day, the world's largest famous protest in history, happen. So it was all big 1-0 burger. And I just read it to you from your fact-checking website that started out to stop Donald Trump in his first term.
The site did not start off to stop Donald Trump. The site started off to fact check because Donald Trump tells so many damn lies that you.
I wonder what it did during the Biden administration.
It didn't exist during the Biden. Well, it did exist.
Wow.
It fact checked him. Like, no, that's the place to go for fact checking. It fact checked. And as we have read, he is firing. There's never in the history of this country been a time where the Navy, even during the Civil War, the Navy did not fire missiles into America. Let that sink in. During the Civil War, the Navy didn't fire missiles into this live ammo into the country.
Missiles? I don't know.
Wait, what kind of ridiculous question did you ask?
During the Civil War, did we have missiles? That's my question for our critical thinking viewers over there, or those that are in development.
Well,
you're stressing me. You're reaching. Look, I'm reaching off screen, trying to help you scare these people enough to hate Donald Trump. But they're fatigued. Like I said off screen earlier today, the boy who cried wolf, man, these kids need to learn that in school instead of other things. Did you know Snoop Dogg? What's going on with Snoop Dogg, by the way? And the children?
What? Don't care about Snoop Dogg.
That's what's trending right now, by the way.
Snoop Dogg is not, whatever's happening with Snoop Dogg doesn't belong on this platform. He's in this conversation. So what does happen is this protest is the largest protest in the history of the country. It's scheduled. There are predicted to be more attendees than the Black Lives Matter movement, which spread across the country prolifically. If everybody remembers, if you can go as far back as to 2020, another time when things were so bad under Trump, we had mass protests. We have more protests coming up. No Kings protests is coming up. Like, more protests right now than during the civil rights era. Donald Trump has sparked more protests than the civil rights era. Let that sink in. Hear what's going on in this country. The civil rights era did not have as many people upset. And look what was happening at that time. We're talking about apartheid in this country. Well, what did they call it? Whatever separation they called it. It was apartheid. It was keep people, black people can't drink at white water fountains. Blacks being attacked by dogs. This is what's going on in the country. And that did not have the size of the amount of people protesting as this does. Even that is dwarfed by the amount of people that are outraged at Trump at this present moment. That is a point of history that I think it's beyond comparison, but nonetheless, we're dwarfing it with the incredible amount of unprecedented events that have occurred since Trump has been in office. You seem dissatisfied with these statements of truth. So please, MAGA spin it.
Truth, really? Is that what we're calling them now? Listen, in the digital age, with all the nonprofit funding, all the public assistance, all the college students, mass information, mass media, of course, there's probably the most protests that you would see in history, because back in the day, they didn't have all these different resources and tools and times to actually fight the power, if you think about it. So yes, maybe what Leo said is 100% factual, but for my qualitative opinion, seems about right. However, it's not the end of the world. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But where are the free Palestine folks? No kings. If we had a king, these people wouldn't be able to do all these wonderful things. So again, bad PR and marketing from all the civil rights and liberties crying babies, in my opinion.
I'm glad that you've given your opinion and allow me to rebuttal. So a king is someone that has the kind of power that can suspend the Constitution, which, because the courts are now saying he's not able to send troops from other states, like let's say Texas, into Portland. Oh, you can't do that against the rules. He's like, well, maybe I'll just suspend the Constitution and do it anyway. And I guess that could be considered the nuclear option. But that is what's occurring right now. The president is talking about levying tools that would give him control, that the Supreme Court can't interject. The Insurrection Act is the name of the tool he wishes to use. The Insurrection Act would mean that the courts are nullified, that the branch of government that he holds power in, the executive branch, would hold more power and outweigh the power of all the other branches, including the Congress. He would be able to basically do as he willed. He would have the power of a king. That's what the Insurrection Act would do. And that is what he's been floating since the courts have ruled against him. Dion, I would love to hear what you feel about that.
Well, I love how, being an American, we have a republic based on a document called the United States Constitution. Well, some people argue it's a constitutional republic, just to put it like that in social studies. And how we're seeing it play out in real time with the checks and balances of the Supreme Court and the lower courts and Congress and state legislatures. Maybe you should actually look into the Federalist Papers. So again, the monarchy and no King's Day, that should be over there across the pond, as they say in Europe, because that's where they have kings, queens, dukes, and scribes, I guess. And
Scribe is nothing but a writer. You're trying to use big words to scare people. And you say that, oh God, when I say authoritarian, you say I'm using big words, but you're using, instead of saying people that write, you said scribes. Like, come on, man.
Well,
Really?
the word king is a classical term from a monarchy in which America actually was formed from fighting. Remember the Boston Tea Party? These are little historical factoids about America that every child, man, woman, child alike should know. So again, we have or slowly become England. A lot of people say that with all the taxations and regulations. So those are the comparisons that we're having right now. No kings with Donald Trump. So hopefully all the viewers can make the correlation. If not, then try to be just outraged and dismiss it because that's too much
Let me
work.
ask you a question, because that leaves me with something of curiosity. So then, why is there a no kings protest? Why do people feel that they need to have a no kings protest? And why would there be a problem with the protest if Trump isn't the king?
It's called Trump derangement syndrome.
So
People live.
there's so many people sick in the country with. I think Trump derangement. My personal opinion is Trump derangement syndrome is having your head so far up his ass you can't see what's going out, and you can't see what's going on. You're like, all I see is Trump's, because that's my definition of Trump derangement syndrome. But I don't. But true Trump derangement syndrome is a figment of like his imagination that he spread. Anybody that believes that there's an entire disease that is caused by their presence and their actions, like disease, has what's called delusions of grandeur. There's something wrong with them. That is a medical condition in and of itself. Now, I'm not a medical expertise. Let me put that out there. But if you think that your presence and what you do causes people to be so sick that they develop a syndrome, I think there's something wrong with you.
Well, just like there's no psychological term midlife crisis, then I say it's just another cliche that they came up with to actually label people that are so obsessed with their hatred or their hatred has consumed them so much that they have a condition that should be diagnosed as Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. And these
I have it.
people,
I have it. I have it. I'm so upset by by state military being deployed from one state to another, by missiles being fired into the country.
that
I'm
helps
very
out a
upset.
lot. That helps out a lot that it's big of you, Leo, to admit that. And hopefully a lot of other people can come to terms
It
and
has nothing
think
to do with
about,
Trump. See, but you're saying, so you're insinuating that people are just hating Trump. We hate what is happening, and missiles being fired into the country to stop a protest of kings, which is what this country was founded on in the first place,
oh God.
is something they hate. And his reaction to it is to stop the protests. Its reaction to not being able to send the military in is the Insurrection Act. The Insurrection Act is a U.S. federal law from 1807 that empowers the president to deploy U.S. military forces domestically to suppress rebellion. What rebellion? Domestic violence or enforce federal laws when ordinary judicial proceedings are inadequate. It provides an exception to the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878, which generally prohibits the use of federal military personnel for civilian law enforcement on U.S. soil. So now, because he's breaking the law and the courts have called him on it, he's going to go to a law to go above him, to go above them, to go above the law, to go above the courts, so that he can use military personnel to enforce his will on the people. He doesn't want protests, so now he's going to send in the military to stop it.
Well, Leo, this won't be his first time when he feels as though federal property should be protected. He feels as though federal law enforcements should be protected when the states won't. That's why he targeted sanctuary states and cities. Makes sense? Because they won't do that. So the president says, you know what, you guys aren't mature enough to handle this. I have to be the commander in chief locally. Now, mind you, people like myself and beyond could label this overreach. Should label this overreach, and we want less government into our affairs. However, President Donald Trump says the government has gotten so big that I, myself, my office executive branch has to get more effective, making it smaller. In the meantime, I have to
So to make it, wait. That was
micromanage.
a lot. So what you're saying is to make it smaller,
Mhm.
he's going to send in troops into American cities. That's how he's making the government smaller. Conservative Dion Powell.
Yes, in the sanctuary states and cities, as I said, because they're not to be trusted. Again, Leo, President Donald Trump, like a lot of people on this side of the fence anyway, would like less government. However, the government's gotten so huge that the executive branch has to take a sledgehammer, in his case, or a scalpel like Kennedy to make it smaller. However, it can be labeled overreach. Understand? Because that's the definition of it. So I'm admitting what people should say critically. This is great, but it is by definition something that we don't agree with. For example, the government getting in people's personal businesses and moral compass of what they should do. Should they have an abortion? Should there be same-sex marriage? That is overreach. Understand?
I want to end on that note. We are agreed. This is overreach. That's it. There's no more to it. Thank you. There's nothing else to talk about. Like
I
we're
wouldn't say
in
it's
agreement.
overreach. It's a vanity parade. The man loves his
He is
veterans and his
firing live
military.
missiles into the country. That's never been done before. That's a problem. There's a reason he's doing that. It's because he's trying to stop a protest. I'm calling it a parade because he's calling up what he's doing a parade. He's trying to
Sure.
stop a protest that is based on what this country was founded for, stopping kings. We are against kings. If he was a real American, any real American is going to be with not having kings. There shouldn't be a discussion. He should be applauding. He should be pushing it forward, not labeling the people that don't want kings as terrorists, as his rhetoric, as the rhetoric from his office, from his surrounding people, from his cabinet members have begun to do at accelerated rates over the last week. The rhetoric from them is that this is Antifa, that these people are terrorists, that they're like the rhetoric is that these people are bad because they don't want kings. And somehow I think that that might be crazy. But that's my personal take. We can agree. I'm on one side of it where I think that what he's doing is, you know, authoritarian. You're on the other side where you're like, he's just Trump being Trump, sending troops in from one state to another, firing missiles. So what? And we can meet in the middle and say, at the very minimal, this is actually overreach. He's not supposed to be doing this. And I can agree with that. I'll leave it with he shouldn't be doing that. This is overreach. Anyway, thank you for coming once again. This is Leo and Dion. Please like, share, subscribe. Is there anything else you want to put in before we jump out?
Well, again, you showed me share the screen with the information. Do your research on those words and see what happens. But it seems though even the fact-checking websites designed to stop Donald Trump are getting their act together. I'm very happy.
I guess you could put spin on anything when it directly says that the missiles are being fired into California and later today they will be to celebrate the 250 years of the Navy, which was already celebrated a week ago. And he came up with this 2 days ago. Like, you can come up with, you're right. Come up with your
Sometimes
own.
people celebrate Black History Month in March. Whoa! Have you ever seen that on your own?
Not 2 days before the largest protest in the history of the country, on the day of the history of the country. Like, if you can't, if in any way, shape, or form, you really don't see what that is, that's
Well,
fine.
then I guess I should say, I hope it's a peaceful protest. We are
I
the
love the
news, and now
glasses.
so are you. Yes, I switch up my glasses occasionally, family. I think on the next episode, you may see the same t-shirt, but a different pair. So pay attention. Thank you.
That's interesting. Well, I hope you can see my point with them, the reality. We're going to sign out. All right. This is Leo and Dion. Thank you for coming. Please support the media. You're getting the real news, what's happening here. The mainstream media is now being counted out for good reasons. As Dion likes to point out, we are the news.
And so are you.
And so, I love it. That's a good catch.
You gotta bring that
Be a
viewer in.
critical thinker. Use your mind. Join the critical thinking community. Join us. Put your minds together. Come up. See how we came up. We came together, and even though we came from different ideologies, different beliefs, different thought structures on what is happening, we're able to come up with a middle ground where we can say something. Okay, this is overreach. It's not overly worded from my side. It's not downplayed from his side. It's in the middle. We do this with a think tank. This is beautiful. This is what we were created to do. You can join us and be a part of it. Thank you for coming. This is Leo and Dion signing out.